Hi, I'm Dave at All the Cool Stuff, and you are watching TFR Wilderness.
Cheers, bud. Hello, I'm TFR Wilderness and welcome to my channel. And before I get into this month's haul video, I'd like to say a big thanks to Dave Tree of All the Cool Stuff for being a good sport and allowing me to film him for the little video intro that you've just seen in front of my usual video intro. Thanks Dave, thanks a lot. As you can probably guess, I've been to All the Cool Stuff this month, but a little bit more on that later when I get to it. So to start off with, obviously, hello again, I'm TFR Wilderness. This is my end of month bot haul for October. Hasn't been a particularly massive month for purchases. I've got 11 items on the table next to me to show to you. 3 of which are comics, a couple of KTRTs, some third-party figures, and a couple of official items. But without further ado, let's get into it. Right, so so the first item to arrive on the 5th of October, which just look up at the it was Friday, the 5th of October. Obviously, I went to Spartown Comics. Went to see Sid and got hold of Transformers Bumblebee #4. Now this is the final issue of Transformers Bumblebee. I thought it was running to 6 issues, but apparently it's only running to 4 issues. It's been kind of fun reading this. It's basically set in the 1960s because Bumblebee apparently is partnered with this spy, this secret agent guy, and he gets sort of stitched up, and a lot of his colleagues start getting killed, and it turns out the Decepticons are involved, and blah blah blah. There's loads of Easter eggs and references to lots of James Bond and Austin Powers in this. It's really fun looking for all the references. So it only runs out to 4 issues. It's supposed to be like a prequel for the Bumblebee movie, which is coming out in December. So it's supposed to set the scene for that. So this is basically what Bumblebee was up to, just before, the 1980, in the 1960s, he was hanging out with sort of secret agents and spies, and he got into a bit of a tussle. It's quite cool. Only ran out 4 issues. This is the final part. So again, it's you could well, as this ties in with the movie, this could be part of the reboot for IDW Comics, or it could be last gasp of the old guard, the old continuity. I'm not really sure. It's based on the movie continuity, so it doesn't really have any bearing on the IDW continuity comics, which are coming to an end very soon. But so I got hold of that, so that was all right. And then the next items to arrive. 3 of which arrived a week later on Friday the 12th. I got home from work and this month's KTRTs arrived. Now, you've seen reviews of both these figures, and this thing. Miniforce X Maxbot. It's a piece of crap. I think so. I think this is quite possibly the worst figure I've bought this year. But easily the worst KTRT I've bought. I don't like the aesthetic, the build quality, the engineering on it is subpar. It transforms into a really ugly looking drill tank. I did the review on it. A number of people posted comments on it, saying, oh, it's not really that bad, I kind of like the alt mode and stuff like that, and that's fine. I mean, obviously, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Other people might actually like this, but what I would say to you, would you have paid like 50-60 quid of your own money to buy one of these? I think not somehow. I paid, well, it was just under 60 quid for this, and I'm really disappointed by it. It's not that good, and yeah, I've only bought it to be a pair of legs for the combiner, and that's the only reason. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. So yeah, get rid of that rubbish. So yeah, that arrived, and then on the same day, because I bought both of these figures from Mr. Soon, my Korean eBay plastic crack dealer. You know, he sells me all my, well, majority of my KTRT bots. I got the next of the Hello Carbot Cretaceous period Dinobots with Triton. This figure, I don't think it's quite as well made as Terrajet. I like Terrajet a lot more. It's got some. It's still decently made, but the plastic quality seems a little bit iffy on some of the especially the white plastic. I don't know. It's not really up to Sonocon's usual standard. But then again, these toys aren't made by Sonocon. They're made by Rock. So I don't know whether that means anything. The articulation's okay. It looks kind of cool. It's got an awful lot of kibble hanging off it. The dyno mode's a brick. It doesn't do anything. But it's a half decent figure. It's all right. Obviously, I'm going to be getting the rest of the Hello Carbot Dinobots. I'll be buying the next one tomorrow or in the next couple of days. So yeah, got him. Hello Carbot's Cretaceous period Triton, and he's okay. And then obviously, because it was a Friday, Spartan Comics, I got Unicron number 5. Now obviously, all the three main comic runs, Optimus Prime, Lost Light, and Unicron, are all now heavily involved in this end game story for the Unicron series. There's a hell of a lot going on in these comics. There's so much action going on. It's difficult to keep track of it, and I'm pretty sure I'm reading them out of sequence again. But anyway, I'm down to the final 3 issues, but one for each of the three comics. So it's not long now, and then the current continuity will be at an end. But yeah, it's spiraling into oblivion. But it's still, there's some interesting stuff going on in here. But as is IDW, there's a hell of a lot of characters getting killed off in this. But I think that's the whole point. Let's just kill everybody off and then come back with a fresh-faced reboot in the new year. But anyway, so yeah, I got Unicron number 5, and that was on the 12th. Now, then a little bit of backstory. For many years, or for a couple of years at least, I've been to conventions, and I've seen, you know, Dave Tree and all the cool stuff appearing at conventions. Obviously, I've seen him at Auto Assembly, seen him at TF Nation, been to a couple of rollout roll calls. I've been meaning to go down to all the cool stuff shop, and my original plan was, I'm also a good friend of James Lai of Maximil of Toys. Hello, James, if you're watching. And at Rollout Roll Call 2016, I hung around with James, Dave Knight, and their buddy, and we went for dinner together on Saturday evening. Yeah, a bit of a palaver that was. But yeah, I hung around with James quite a lot, and I'm pretty friendly with James. And at some point, James suggested, you know, would you like to come down to my place one weekend and just crash out for a weekend and hang out? And I said, yeah, I'd be up for that. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be going down to that end of the country, I can then use it as an excuse to go and visit all the cool stuff at Fordingbridge, because it's you know, it's down in the south of England. So that was my game plan. Unfortunately, over the intervening years, James has not extended the offer. I wouldn't say he sort of got a bit carried away with his Transformer collecting, and he come to a point whereby he decided you know, he couldn't justify spending all this money on all these you know, third party and knockoff figures, and he cut right back. I mean, he was doing lots of reviews on his channel, and then all of a sudden his channel sort of stopped, and he stopped doing videos, and and I think his life priorities changed, and he moved on to other things. I mean, he's still doing the store, he's still, you know, appearing at TF Nation, and I still catch up with him as and when, but you know, he's not quite as mad for, you know, Transformers as he was. So I've not been able to, you know, to go down to that part of the country and visit all the cool stuff, if that makes any sense. So I had booked a week off work this month, the 15th to the 19th of October. I had some leave I had to use up, so I booked it, and I decided off the cuff, I know I'm going to go down and visit all the cool stuff. Now, I live in the Midlands, as in just south of Coventry. All the cool stuff is in Fordingbridge, which is about, was it 15-20 miles south of Salisbury. It's just on the northern edge of the New Forest, and yeah, it's quite a ways away from where I live, and it's difficult to justify driving all the way down there just to do a flying visit on the shop and then drive all the way back. But I decided, sod it, let's do it. So on Monday, the 15th of October, I jumped in my car and then I drove down to Fordingbridge. And on the way down, I decided to avoid the obvious M40A34 because it's not far away from Ringwood. And I've been to Ringwood before because I used to do banger racing many years ago, and I've been down to spectate at the track at Ringwood a couple of times, so I knew how to get down to that part of the country. But as I was going down on, you know, a Monday morning, I wanted to avoid a lot of rush hour traffic, so I went down the Fossway to Cirencester, went over that amazing dual carriageway between Cirencester and Swindon. Love that dual carriageway. And then from Swindon, I went down to Salisbury, and then from Salisbury to Fordingbridge. Got a bit turned around in Fordingbridge because on the map it just looks like the road goes, you know, sort of north to south, and there's another road that comes across, and it's a little village on the map, and it's like, it looks like a crossroads, but it so isn't. Anyway, so eventually I got there, and yeah, just look at this.
It's all the cool stuff. I must be in Fordingbridge. Say hello, Dave.
Hello.
Yeah, so as you can see, I managed to get to Fordingbridge. It was about 112 miles going down, and I left home at about 8:30 and arrived there at about 11:24. So it took 2 hours 56 minutes for me to get to the shop. So I eventually found the shop, and obviously went inside, and it's a fantastic little shop. It's and very compact and bijou, very much like roll out roll call when it was at the Jury's Inn in Southampton. It's very small and compact, but there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, he's got majority of the popular sort of comic and toy franchises in there. He's got Lego, he's got Star Wars, he's got Transformers, G.I. Joe, board games, computer games, all sorts of stuff. It's really rammed in there. And I did that little walkthrough as you saw. And I arrived there. I spent what was it, about an hour and 46 minutes in the shop overall, just chatting to Dave about stuff and looking around at his wares, and it was great catching up with Dave, and it was good to see him again. And hello Dave, if you're watching. It was very good to meet you again and have a chat with you about stuff. But obviously I hadn't just gone there to see the shop. Well, that was one of the main objectives of going there. Obviously I wanted to buy something while I was there, and I had one particular item in mind that I wanted to get, and it was one of the convention exclusives that he had at Rollout Roll Call in 2016. It was that repaint of Windblade as Airazor. And I noticed he had some on eBay for 75 quid. Now, I didn't buy one at the convention at the time because it was like 80 quid, and it was a little bit rich for my taste. I mean, as amazing a figure it looked, I wasn't quite prepared to pay that amount of money for it. But when I got down to the shop, he had the glass case, next to the counter, like a detolf, and it was full of convention exclusive Transformers. A lot of them were ones that were at Rollout Roll Call 2016 and 2015 and others. So I was looking in the case, and he had the Airazor, so I got one of those. And there was something else in the box as well. IGear Duneraker. This is the the IGear version, their version of Duneraker. Many people say that it's a bit of a crappy mold, to be honest. And now that I've played with it, I can see what they mean. I mean, I've got X Transbot Arcos. I've got the other sort of like Masterpiece Scale 1, and it's a lot more intricate than this thing. Now the thing is, with Beachcomber, there are a number of characters which I do my character mold set collecting with. I mean, Huffer's the main one, as you'll see later on in this video. Skybite's another, and then I do like Weird Wolf and Brainstorm and Skullcruncher. And I've been looking for other characters to collect, and Beachcomber's one of them. I've got a couple of Beachcomber molds already. I've got a G1, I've got a Generations, I've got Arcos. So looking at it, there's only about another 3 or 4 versions, 3 or 4 molds that I need to get. In fact, Fans Toys have just announced one as well, so that's another one I'm going to have to think about, but that won't be coming out for a while. So I went and bought this guy, and by purchasing this guy, I've committed to collecting or mold set collecting Beachcomber. So yeah, I got hold of him. And then as I was looking in the case, I spotted something else. There's the box, Master Shooter Collectables, and it's this guy, Brown King. Now this is a Megatron gunformer of a sort. It's like a Target Master G1 Megatron in Diaclone colours. Now he only had the Diaclone coloured one. He didn't have the G1 coloured one, if that's such a thing. But I've been thinking about getting this because I like collecting my Megatron gunformers. And even though this turns into a Target Master style weapon, let's just do it quickly. There we go. Put that on there. Take that off, and there you go. A little weapon that anybody with, you know, like a 5mm peg can hold. So yeah, I bought him as well. And the bio on this is absolutely hilarious. Basically, as this is the Diaclone coloured version, it's suggested in this bio that when, well, Unicron, as it's called, when he created, what's he called, Megagun, which is the Megatron version, and there was some leftover parts which were then sort of shit out of his rear hatch, and due to the ejected from his rear hatch and gave him life, this is now Brown King. So he's like made up out of the detritus and the shit and the leftovers, and that's why he's called Brown King. Now this thing, it does have ball jointed hips and they are extremely fragile, so if you try to disconnect this peg between the legs, you run the risk of snapping the ball joints, and I've already snapped it twice and glued it back together. So yeah, don't want to mess around with this too much. But yeah, I knew about this thing and I wanted to get one, so Dave happened to have this version in his shop, so I managed to get hold of one of those. And these 3 figures I bought from All the Cool Stuff, cost me £110. Now I'm not sure what exact prices. I mean, this thing was ticketed up at 30 quid. This was supposed to be 80, but I think he gave me a bit of a discount on Airazor, and I don't know whether he did this for 5 or a tenner, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm happy with the price I paid for these. So that was really good, and it was great to see Dave and buy some stuff from his wonderful shop. And then I had the drive home, and I went home via a different route, which was slightly quicker actually, because obviously I went the A34 M40. But on coming out, I got a bit confused coming out Fordingbridge, because on the map it's like north, south, east, west roads, and it says there's like a crossroads in the middle, but that's not the case. The village is actually off to one side of the main road, and you come off onto it, and then I got confused, and I thought I was coming. I wanted to head. I wanted to head east, and I ended up heading on the westbound roads, and I had to keep doubling back, and then I had to come. I drove past the front of the shop like 3 times until I finally got back out the way where I wanted to go, and then I ended up going on that little road that goes across the top of the New Forest, and I drove across the top of the New Forest, and you've got this road that's it's a single track road, no barriers on the side. It's like a 40-mile-an-hour limit. It goes over the top of the heath, and you've got this amazing scenery on either side of, you know, sort of like distant trees, ferns and bracken and all sorts of stuff, and it was looked gorgeous in the autumn colours. It's a shame it was a really dirty, muggy, wet morning, not rather than a sunny day, and there's animals grazing on the side of the road. There's cows and sheep and horses and donkeys just grazing on the side of the road, totally oblivious to the cars rolling by. And it was a really cool drive over that road across the top of the New Forest, and I really enjoyed that. So that was a bit of a highlight on the journey home. But yeah, so I went down to All the Cool Stuff, caught up with Dave Tree, and got me a convention exclusive and a couple of third-party figures. So yeah, that was the main event for this particular month, which happened on Monday the 15th of October. Right, so moving along to the next thing. Right, so well, we got Friday the 19th. When I got home from work, there was a little third-party figure waiting for me. Mechanic Studio MS02 Engineer. Now, this is the packaging that comes with it, and I had seen some pre-production pictures of these, and originally they were under the Lost Planet line, which is MechFan Toys, and yet they're from this thing called Mechanic Studio. I don't know what is it. Are they affiliated to MechFan Toys? Is it the same company under a different name? I don't know. but it looked like they were going to sell them as a 2-pack. Now you look at this packaging, and you've got the artwork for the 2 characters on the front. You've got Engineer on that side, and you've got Haiku, which is their pipes on this side. And then you look on the back, it shows pictures of both the figures. But this is just generic packaging, which is the same packaging they use for both figures. But yeah, but the one I went for is the Huffer, because I collect Huffer. Out of the character mold set collecting figures that I collect, as part of my character mold set collecting, Huffer's my main squeeze. He's the character it all started with. I've got 10 of the existing Huffer molds. There are this is number 11, and there are another 2 more which are available right now. There's the Magic Square. Well, there's the Magic Square one, which is going to be coming out in the new year, I think. I think there's a Magic Square one coming out in the new year, and there's that Bad Cube Natures or Natural one that's it's got a totally different aesthetic to it. But I will be looking to pick that up shortly. But yeah, got hold of this guy. He's pretty cool. He's quite lightweight. There's not much to him. He's decently articulated. He's all right. He's okay. It's a Huffer. What more can I say? It's a little legend scale Huffer. Not more I can say to it. Does come with them little KO so Diaclone mech suit thing, and you got this in like a little box you can put it in. There's no pilot in it. Let's just open the cockpit. It didn't come with a pilot, sadly. I was kind of hoping it'd come with a pilot, and then I could use it to stick in my G1 figures, because I think they're compatible. I'm sure they are. It's a decent little thing. It's got a decent amount of joints. You can get it into some certain poses. It's a bit of a mare to squeeze it into that box it comes with, because you have to really scrunch it down before it'll fit in. And there's nothing in the instructions for this guy at all, so it's just an extra they threw in. Yeah, but these things are done by Mech Fans Toys as part of their Lost Planet line. There's no Lost Planet logos on this box, and yet it came with one of these. It's the first one of these I've got. So yeah, it's all right. So it's a decent little figure. Not that these new Diaclone reissues are particularly of interest to me, but it's a thing. It's decent. It doesn't get a proper number on my collection, just gets a sub number. But yeah, so that came with that thing. And that was all the plastic I got on the 19th. And then obviously I went uptown and got Optimus Prime number 24. Yeah, again, penultimate issue of Optimus Prime. Only one more issue of this, and it's done. Like I said with Unicron, the storyline in this, it's chaotic. There's so much going on. It's difficult to keep track of it all, and the order in which you read the comics. I know there is a reading list on the back. You see on the back of the Unicron issue, you've got a reading list there, or a checklist. But yeah, it's a thing. I'm seeing it through to the bitter end. So yeah, I got that, and that was the last comic I got this month. And now we're just moving on to the last couple of bits that came in. And the first of which was something else I ordered off eBay. One of the other characters that I like is Ultra Magnus, and there's a couple of third-party / KO little legend scale Ultra Magnus figures in the works, and the first one to come out is this guy, Magic Square MSB04 Transporter. So he arrived on the 25th, which was a Thursday. Brilliant thing, absolutely amazing. I got Magic Square fire extinguisher at TF Nation. That's the Inferno. Fantastic little thing. Same with this. Engineering on it is mind-blowing for its size. Articulation, the engineering. It's not perfect. It does have a few sort of slightly messy paint apps. I mean, the paint round here isn't very perfect. The paint on his face isn't great. The paint round the top of the shoulder pauldrons isn't that good. And I think the proportions on it looks a little bit tall, little bit skinny and lanky, because Ultra Magnus is supposed to be a really sort of butch and chunky bot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the engineering on this thing is amazing. I mean, the way the legs work alone is fantastic. It does have a few minor quibbles, but on the whole, it's a great little figure. I paid about 26, 27 quid for it. Got it from Mr. Netclow. Yeah, it arrived in, I think, 9 days, and it's got light piping. It's got, you know, amazing light piping. Fantastic little figure, and obviously the truck cab looks like, you know, a little mini MP10. So it's fantastic. It transforms into the car transporter without any parts forming. It's really clever. And Mr. Borders dude, if you're watching, get you one of these. Fantastic little figure. Papa Toys is supposed to be doing one, an Ultra Magnus in the new year. Whether or not it's going to be a knockoff of this, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I might get that as well if it's any good. But yeah, so that's another Ultra Magnus. I've picked up quite a few this year, and doing a restoration on my G1 Ultra Magnus. So yeah, so he's very much a feature of my collecting this year. And then finally, Friday the 26th, went uptown, but Spartown Comics, nah, they weren't even there. I don't know what happened. They weren't at the usual spot, so they hadn't turned up. Whether they changed the date to a Thursday, I don't know, or whether they hadn't turned up at all. I'll be seeing them again this week, but if they're going to be there, I don't know. I've only got a couple of issues, well, 3 issues of the comic left to go. Obviously, I'm collecting that Star Trek versus Transformers as well. I don't know when the next issue of that's coming out. But yeah, so I didn't get any comics, but something else did arrive. Now, back in May, I ordered a certain Amazon exclusive Power of the Primes Evolution Leader Class figure. Back at the beginning of May, I think it was May the 3rd, I ordered it off Amazon, and at the time they was doing it for this amazing early bird, you know, pre-order price. And so I jumped at it, and then nothing, absolutely nothing. The pre-order disappeared shortly afterwards, and then I kept getting a sequence of emails from Amazon basically saying, oh, we can't get hold of this item, would you like to cancel your order? And every month or so I used to get an email from them saying they couldn't get hold of it. Well, I'd almost given up on it, and I was looking at buying one from elsewhere and cancelling the order, but something in the back of my mind said, look, just hang in there, just be patient, you know, you'll be rewarded, you will get there in the end. You will actually get the figure that you pre-ordered and what you tried to buy from Amazon. And then, yeah, it was the middle of last week, I got a notification from Amazon, your order's been dispatched, and I thought, yes, you beauty. And then there was a bit of a, you know, you get the Amazon tracking thing, and it's saying, oh, it's out for delivery today, and it's going to be delivered today. And then it was saying, oh, it's been sent to the Rugby office, then it's gone to the Dunstable office, then it's gone to the Banbury office, and it's like, what the hell? And it was bouncing around the country. But then it finally arrived on Friday the 26th. Yeah. Power of the Primes, exclusive Evolution Nemesis Prime. Oh yes, when I saw the pictures of this, I said, oh, I've got to get me one of those. I mean, I didn't get the Optimus version because of Optimus. I kind of wanted one, but I wasn't going to get the Optimus coloured version. If they did an Ultra Magnus version or a Nemesis version, I would get either of those. They did a Nemesis version, and it was an Amazon exclusive. And like I said, I pre-ordered it back in May, and it didn't come out. They couldn't get one. And then I saw it on the store, on the in-demand. No, it wasn't in-demand. It was a Kapow store at TF Nation for like 55 quid. And I thought, well, you know, I could have bought one there. And but you know, c'est la vie. And then you look at the prices on eBay, and in fact, it was a couple of weeks ago. The Amazon Amazon US got their order stock of them, and all of a sudden there was loads of them appearing on eBay. People who bought them off Amazon were like flogging them on eBay for, you know, like scalpers prices for like 60, 70 quid. Yeah. So, but I pre-ordered this guy for just over 40 quid. And yeah, so it finally came in, and I got this. So I paid, well, just over 40 quid for this. You know, a leader class figure for just over 40 quid. It's pretty amazing. The engineering on the trailer section, love that. Yes, it's got some compromises. You know, it's got the legs of the Nemesis packs hanging out there. In the truck mode, the cab unit, the legs, there's nowhere for them to go, so they're just chilling out on the back of the truck cab. But he comes with so much weaponry. He's got the, you know, the Power Master Prime blasters on his arms. He's got the sword that turns into a bird. He's got the other big sword. He's got his rifle. And I think the Nemesis version in the black, it just looks so much better because it's all black. All the little gaps in the mold just sort of blend in, and it in your hand it looks like you've got MP10B in your hand. It just looks like MP10B, and my MP10B is up in the loft. I haven't got it down to do a comparison between the two, but it's very close. Not particularly heavy. I had a bit of an issue with one of the ankles being a bit loose on mine, but I've stuffed a load of nail varnish in there, and it's tightened it up. Fantastic figure. And after I got this, I went on Amazon to see, well, if they've got them on stock, I wonder what price they're doing them at now. Because bearing in mind, the pre-order price I paid for it was at like a super special early bird price, and I thought it was deliberately done dirt cheap, so as a tester to see how much interest they'd get in the figure, so they'd know how many to make for the order. But my surprise when I went onto Amazon and saw this. Yeah, it's under 40 quid. It's like £37, whatever it is, with free postage if you've got Amazon Prime. So you can get, if you want one of these, if you haven't got one already, get onto Amazon now. They've only got a handful in stock. I checked on Amazon before I did this video. There's only a handful of them on there. So if you want one, get on Amazon. You can get one for under 40 quid. So there we go. Nemesis Prime, Amazon exclusive, Power of the Primes, Evolution, Leader Class, Nemesis Prime. And that is it. That is all I got this month. Not a fat lot. It was only 11 items. But, you know, there's quite an interesting bunch of things here. Right. As I do that thing this year, I do sort of first and worst. Fairly easy to work out what is first and worst. The first is, it's kind of a toss-up between this guy and this guy, but I think this is my first and this is my worst. So Nemesis Prime, the best thing I got this month, and this thing, bunch of crap. So yeah, that's it. I'm happy with the price I paid for it, even though you can go onto Amazon and get it slightly cheaper. But still, I'm happy for what I paid for it, and it's a great figure. and it's really cool and interesting and looks great. I'm happy. So yeah, so that's it for this month. I hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously I went to all the cool stuff, and again, big thanks to Mr. Dave Tree for you know, putting up with me in his shop for 1 hour 40 minutes or however long it was I was hanging around in his shop. Yeah, so that's been me. Next month, November, obviously a couple of KTRTs I'm going to be buying tomorrow or the next couple of days. And at the end of the month, we've got the MCM Comic Con at Birmingham, and I'm planning on taking 200 quid to that, because there should be plenty of tasty morsels worth buying at the at that convention there. Don't know what else I'm going to get. As I'm restricted to this £400 budget, it kind of limits me to what I can buy. Speaking of budgets, I went slightly over this month. I went like, yeah, in the last couple of days, I went on eBay and bought a multi-region DVD player, because I'm a big Godzilla fan, and I'm missing a lot of the later Japanese Godzilla movies, you know, like the Heisei series and the Millennium series. And I really wanted to get the DVD box sets, but unfortunately they're not available in a UK PAL Region 2 format. So I needed to, the NTSC, you know, Region 1 versions are readily available on Amazon, but you know, they won't work in UK DVD player, so I had to buy a DVD player. So I went and bought a DVD player off Amazon. It's only just arrived. But now that I've got a multi-region DVD player, it opens the doors, or the avenues to me getting hold of other shows that are available on NTSC and you know, US DVDs, like Transformers Animated, the complete series. So yeah, a couple of days ago I was going on there buying these DVD box sets. I got the Godzilla movie box sets, and I saw this Transformers Animated complete series box set for about 30 odd quid, and I just went buy. And it wasn't until afterwards that I had a quick look at it and I thought, oh, actually, as it's a Transformer themed item, it goes towards my total of Transformers items I bought this month. So when I totted up the figures, I'd actually gone over my £400 budget, but only by 7 quid. So that won't arrive probably till next week or so. But you know, I've got DVD box set Transformers Animated on the way, so finally I can watch Transformers Animated. So yeah, I went over because of that, but next month, because of this 200 quid for MCM Comic Con, it's going to be a bit tight next month, so I don't know what I'm going to be getting next month, and there's plenty of things out there I want to buy. I tell you, there's plenty of things out there I want to get. So without further ado, I will cut this video short, and I will say thank you for watching. I've been TFR Wilderness. I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.